There has been a change at Arsenal. There's definitely been a shift that allows us to produce certain outcomes. I think we definitely saw that yesterday. And I want to talk about what it means going forward as well. And I also want to speak about Man City. Because everyone knows we've got the big game coming up with them. But there's also reasons to be optimistic. There's reasons to think that Man City might just slip up before Arsenal in this Premier League title race. I want to speak about it. But before I do, very quickly, if you could, do me a favour and just hit like on this video. So we know, very quickly, we know Man City's coming up. And all I want to ask you before I get into the video is, do Arsenal have to go to Man City and win this game? I want you to let me know. I'm, of course, going to give you my opinion on it. But in your opinion, do Arsenal have to win the game against Man City? Or can you go there with a game plan to draw the game like we did last season and still win the title? Let me know. So first of all, I just want to speak about Arsenal's defence. Because it was so good. And like I said, it allows us to play in a different way. Teams of the years gone by for Arsenal, you know, they've always been very elegant, very pleasing on the eye. But they've never really been very, you know, defensively solid. And that's something now we're seeing with Arsenal. It allows us to play a different way. We can win a game with all-out attack. We can win a game with grace, with finesse, with style. But we can also sit deep, soak up the pressure, and then not only just hit teams on the break, but wait for that moment, wait for that set piece, wait for that free kick, wait for that one moment, because that's all it takes. And just the defence is so impressive. Mikel Arteta has shifted Arsenal from a defensively weak team to one of the best defensive teams in the world, and I'm not exaggerating. Look at the defence, or the back line, when Mikel Arteta took over, right? Leno in goal, Maitland-Niles, David Luiz, Socrates and Saka at left back. We had one of the best right wingers in world football playing at left back. That's how weak our defence was. And I'm not pinpointing Saka. Of course, I'm talking about Socrates, David Luiz, Maitland-Niles, Leno. Look at the defence we've got now. We've got Raya, who is now producing some truly world-class performances. And judging by so many people's comments in my last video, so many people had him as the man of the match against Tottenham. Those two saves were incredible. The amount of times he comes out to claim the ball. Like, I don't feel nervous now when David Raya is in goal. Do you remember kind of last season there was portions where David Raya was in goal and the ball would go back to him and you would 100% feel nervous? I don't get that feeling anymore. Even when like teams are on the break and they whip a ball in, I automatically assume David Raya is going to come out and claim it because he's so good at doing it. Like, look, I loved Ramsdale. He was so good at saving, but he didn't offer us that same assurance of being able to come out and claim the ball. And David Raya is so good at that. So good at setting the attacks off. The way, like, he finds those throws to set players on their way early so Arsenal can start the early attack. Just so good. Ben White. I wanted to give Ben White a boost because I'm seeing online some negative comments towards Ben White. And look, did Ben White have the best game in the world yesterday? No. Look, we spoke about the game yesterday in yesterday's video. So if you want like a full breakdown, then go and watch yesterday's video after this one. But let's give Ben White, let's cut him some slack. How good or how consistent has Ben White been over these past 2-3 seasons? I think we can allow Ben White to have maybe one day off. Like there was parts of towards the end of the last season where we was actually saying, we was having genuine conversations and saying, Ben White might just be Arsenal's most consistent performing defender. So was Ben White brilliant yesterday? No. Was he sloppy at times? Yes, he was. But I think we can allow him that without kind of getting on his back and saying Ben White needs to improve, because it's never a conversation we need to have. It's never a worry. Ben White is always a mainstay in this Arsenal team. He's always solid. So I was kind of seeing Arsenal fans digging out Ben White yesterday. And I would just say, come on, let's just remember what Ben White has done. I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it. But I just think we need to cut Ben White some slack because he's been so consistent over these years. And then you get to the centre-backs. Not only are they so good defensively, but we see season upon season just what these guys offer us in the final third, on set pieces. Just how good they are aerially. Like I said, not only defensively, but to score those huge goals as well. And Gabriel was the guy to pop up yesterday. In a couple of weeks' time, it might be Saliba. And it's just so good to have those options. Jovic, of course, deserves so much respect. Last season, he came in clutch for Arsenal. So many games, so many moments. He was able to produce from those set pieces, and it seems like that's going to be another theme going into this season. We're going to rely or depend upon these moments, and that's brilliant because, like I said, in games where you do have the defence to sit deep, when you know it's not going to go all your own way, you need to be able to produce these moments when you get the chance. And Arsenal now, especially on that corner where we scored, like the fans in the corner were celebrating. They know something good can come from these corners. And in terms of Gabriel and Saliba, look, in my opinion, I've been saying it since last season. This is the best defensive partnership, like the best centre-back pairing in world football. I'm waiting for someone to tell me otherwise. Who else in there? Who else out there in world football is as good as Gabriel and Saliba as a centre-back partnership? Let me know, because I genuinely don't know of one. Rudiger at Real Madrid, they're quite good. They're not as good as Saliba and Gabriel. Just very, very solid. And then you bring in Timber. A position, left back for Arsenal last season, was a position that was always being changed. There was always some rotation. There was always a difference of opinion on who should be played in certain games. I'm not sure we're going to be able to have those same discussions this season because jurrien Timber, like I said in yesterday's video, he started slow in that game, but he produced an unbelievable performance by the end of the game. You're starting to see the benefit of having jurrien Timber in that position. So many people in the Arsenal fan base kind of missed Kieran Tierney for the ability to just get down that flank and whip them balls in, or just make that run beyond the left winger. We know jurrien Timber can invert. We know jurrien Timber can work defensively. And now we know jurrien Timber is a player that can get down that touchline and offer support to that left winger, which is something we've been needing for so long. Left wing, left back was a position last season, or an area of the pitch where Arsenal were weaker. We was way stronger on the right and central areas, and it was kind of shown within the stats. Arsenal played most of their work centrally or down the right-hand side. The left-hand side of the pitch for Arsenal was definitely neglected last season. You can see it within the stats. It was proven. We're seeing this season just what Timber might offer this left-hand side. And I think there will be another improvement when we have the introduction of Mikel Merino into this team. It's very, very exciting to be an Arsenal fan. We've just gone and, we've beat Tottenham at their place again 3 times in a row with our second choice midfield, essentially. I think our best midfield will be, when everyone is fit, is Odegaard, Merino and Declan Rice in the 6. So we've ground out a result basically due to the defence. Of course, the defence is, well, the way Arsenal set up anyway. Everyone defends. Everyone gets behind the ball. Everyone has their shape. And out of possession, again, let me know if you see it differently. Out of possession, Arsenal might just be the best team in world football in terms of their shape, in terms of their structure, in terms of as soon as they lose the ball, every single player on that pitch knows their responsibility. They have to get back into their position because the whole system doesn't work unless every single man is in their position. That 4-4-2 we defended with yesterday was so strong. And every time Arsenal lost the ball, you could see players like Havertz, Trossard, Saka, Martinelli, they was all so important in creating that shape that was just so strong, and Tottenham couldn't break it down. They couldn't play through the middle because we had such a strong structure centrally. They could only go down the sides, and then when they did sort of have some success on the sides, they got it in and they were snuffed out straight away. Solanke didn't have a sniff. Maddison got subbed off because there wasn't no play being played centrally because Arsenal were so rigid, so strong, so compact. Just very, very impressive. Look, Arsenal's defence, like I said, it's the joint best in the league this season. We've conceded 1 goal. The only other team I think is Liverpool. Yeah, like I said, that's just been such a massive shift to what we've seen in previous seasons. It's been a massive switch up. Arsenal defensively in the past were weak, and now we're a team that can grind out results in different ways. And we might need to be strong defensively because look at the teams we've got coming up. We've got Atalanta. Of course, we're going to be doing a breakdown on that game. Huge game in the Champions League. We've been stitched up in terms of fixtures. Man City play Wednesday at home in the Champions League, and then they play Sunday at home in the Champions League. Arsenal play Thursday away in the Champions League, and then we play Sunday away against Man City. We've been stitched up in terms of fixtures. If you're looking at Man City and Arsenal, Man City have got the easy route. I can't say I'm shocked. Man City always seem to get the rub of the green. That's just what it is. We got to live with it. Look, the Man City game, do I think we have to win that game? There was a lot of criticism around Arsenal last season because we went to the Etihad and kind of ground out a draw. And people are saying that's not good enough. If you want to win the title, you have to go to Man City and win that game. And look, I can understand that argument, but at the same time, if you beat Man City at home and then go to their place and get a draw, I don't think that's the worst result in the world. Like, if Arsenal were able to beat Man City at our place, at the Emirates, and then go to Etihad like next week and then get a draw, I would take that right now. If someone offered me right now, you could take a draw at the Etihad and a win at home, I would take it. Not only because of the injuries that Arsenal have got, but that's basically as good as you're going to get against this City team. Look, in a perfect world, Arsenal would beat City a home and away. But we don't live in a perfect world. There's always different variables to take into the game. But right now, if someone offered me a draw at Man City, I would probably take it. And a lot of people might say that's defeatist, but I just don't see it as a bad result going to the Etihad and taking a draw. Of course, I want Arsenal to go and win the game, but if I was offered a draw right now, I would take it. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it in the comment section. Do you think Arsenal have to go to the Etihad and win that game? And then if your answer is yes, all I would ask you is that realistic? Can Arsenal go there with, let's be honest, a fairly depleted squad at the minute in terms of central midfield? Odegaard, I'm not sure what his situation's going to be. It would be a shock if he's back. He's probably going to miss that game. There's kind of rumours floating about that Odegaard might be out till October. So if he misses that game, that's going to be a massive hit, of course. I liked Ethan Nwaneri's performance, by the way, when he came in against Tottenham yesterday. I thought he was actually very composed. I see someone in my comment section say he wasn't kind of ready or he wasn't up to speed. I hold a different opinion. I welcome everyone's opinion on this channel, but for me, Ethan Nwaneri looked very, very solid. He didn't look out of place when he came on. I liked what Gabriel Jesus done when he come on. He kind of stuck him up front and said, look, I'll take care of the defensive work. You just take care of when we get the ball, hold it up, bring the other players into play. And that's exactly what we saw from Ethan Nwaneri. Like I said, there's some optimism, or there's some reasons to be optimistic going forward, because after we get this game against Atalanta out the way, we've got Man City. After that, there's a bit of respite. We can breathe. We can sit down for a second and evaluate, because we got 3 games after that you would imagine to be easier. The next 3 fixtures in the Premier League we've got after the Man City game is Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth. These are going to be free games that you can kind of, you know, if there's any players carrying something, you can maybe rest them. You can maybe switch up the team slightly, because like I said, we've been playing such hard teams. We've had Villa, we've had Brighton, we've had Tottenham, we would have had Man City. We've had such a difficult start to this season, and so far, touch wood, we've not been too bad. We've been very, very good, in fact. A massive win. Of course, I would have liked to win against Brighton. But I think so far, you can call this season a relative success, because we've got players out. We've got players suspended. And that was just a huge win yesterday, because you couldn't have lost yesterday or drawn yesterday and then go to Man City and then lose or draw that game, because it would have been way too big of a gap to overcome. And then Man City's next 3 games, they got Newcastle away. They got Fulham, which can be a tricky fixture. And then they got Wolves away. So then we kind of switch positions with Man City. Man City fans would have been in a position where they're like, right, let's look at Arsenal now, because they got some difficult games. Man City have had some easy games. They would have been hoping for Arsenal to drop points. And they maybe got that. They got a draw against Brighton. But now Man City got to play games like Newcastle away. That could be their Brighton. They could lose that one. They could draw that one. Then they got Fulham at home. Fulham have got some good players. They're playing well this season. And then they got Wolves away. Again, I just think we need to get through this Man City game with a draw. If we can get through this game with a draw, with the injuries we've got, with the kind of suspension that we had, I would call that a good start to the season. Absolutely. But I, of course, want to know your guys' thoughts on it. Let me know in the comment section. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could just do me a favor, hit like on this video. Just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.